Welcome back to Sambo's Place, and I want to thank you guys for checking in. I also want to thank some of the folks who subscribed, messaged me saying, hey, looking forward to the Searwood, looking forward to your progress on everything. Hey, thanks a lot, I appreciate it. I'm one of those guys on YouTube that's going to beg people to subscribe. If you like what you see, that's great. If you could use some of the information, that's even better. What works for me may not work for you. My cooking techniques might not be yours. What works for you may not work for me, but hey, this is a community where we could share, and that's why I started this channel, was to just share some thoughts, share some cooks, do some product reviews, and be objective. I'm not going to be one of those guys out there in YouTube land that's going to think everything is wonderful just so that manufacturers could send me stuff free. That's not me. You know what? Money's hard to come by these days in this economy, and I'm going to objectively tell you, based on my experiences and my detailed eye, what I think of products, and to continue to report back to you. So having said that, thanks for checking in. I'm going to kind of keep you up to date on what's going on here. I was in touch with Jesse C. from Weber, and we're looking at about 3 weeks out to the delivery of the new Searwood. He originally said that it was going to show up in May, and I guess they're close to their target delivery date. But anyway, the reason I heard from him, and the reason we were talking, was because I had another issue with this. This pit has been a tease for me. It'll go and it'll produce some fantastic smokes. It'll give us some great dinners, and then out of the blue, it pukes. It pukes out. I'll give you, for instance, I started hearing this groaning noise in it a few weeks ago, and I said, you know what? This is the same groaning noise I got right before the shear pin popped on the auger shaft. So I got rid of all the pellets, tore the grill apart inside, and I got in there and I looked at the tunnel for the auger tube, which is, by the way, upwards towards the user. It's not horizontal, which might be part of the problem. But anyway, I noticed, and I contacted Weber and let them know, that the auger is actually centered a bit high right to about the 2 o'clock position. And I guess what happens is when that auger gets loaded with pellets, it puts undue pressure and strain on that auger, which puts undue pressure and strain on the shaft and the shear pin and so forth. And I was getting that groaning noise right before the shear pin went the first time, so I'm starting to get that groaning noise again. I contacted Jesse C. I let him know. And the most amazing thing, I can't say enough about Weber's customer support. Really, he wanted to send a technician out. Seriously, send a technician out to either replace the tunnel itself or do something in order to fix it. And I said, Jesse, I said, you know what, we're getting close to the new one. I have a couple extra shear pins. I just wanted to keep you, abreast of this situation. If I pop a shear pin again, I have a couple here. I'll just replace it, and we'll just keep going until the Searwood comes up. But you know what? Kudos to Jesse C. and the customer support team at Weber. They're phenomenal. They really are. So having said that, we have a couple good weeks of cooks, and then this past weekend, I decided to do some poor man burnt ends. So I got 6 pounds. I got 3 2-pound chuck roasts on there. I started at about 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. I go to a meeting on Saturday morning, and I have no Wi-Fi there, so I can't keep in touch with the grill. I get home, and I'm going to show you this right here. I get this on the grill. The grill just decided out of the blue to go into shutdown mode. Just, who knows why? There were no lightning strikes. There were no power outages. My grandson didn't trip over the power cord and unplug the grill. Nothing. Just out of the blue, the grill decides to go into shutdown mode. You gotta wait the 15 minutes, whatever. Anyway, I started back up, and the cook turns out fine, but this is not something that you really should expect or have to put up with a $1,600 pit. I'm just sorry, it's just not. But let me digress a second here. I usually make my own rubs. I order from Bulk Foods, and I put together my own rubs. I wanted to try something this time, and this is a shameless plug out to Fire and Smoke Society. This stuff right here, this black and tan, oh my lord, it made that chuck roast taste just like brisket burnt ends. I'm telling you what, guys, you got to try this stuff. This stuff is fantastic. It's gonna be in my cupboard from now on, even though I do make my own rubs. But shameless plug, try some of this. Anyway, here's a picture of how those chuck roasts turned out and the phenomenal bark that this pit and that rub put on these chuck roasts. So check it out right here. So back to this. I got in touch with Jesse. I let him know about everything that's going on. Again, you know, apologetic. What can he do? Yada, yada, yada. Hang in there. The new one's coming. So that's the good news. What I decided to do is that I'm going to take some specific photographs and I'm going to take some specific measurements of the outgoing Smokefire. So when the Searwood gets here and we get it all put together, I'm going to compare some things. Like for instance, I want to see if it's the same auger length. We have a perpendicular auger this time to the firebox. We're going to have a horizontal one in the new one. I want to also take some measurements in terms of how far the firebox is from the grill grates compared to where the firebox is on this and the grill grates, because I think that has a lot to do with why I am not getting the searing function out of this. And I know that people have messaged me and said, hey, you know, crank it up to 600, do this, do that, open it up, up. I get it. I tried it. It's not to my liking. It's, again, nothing like what I experienced on the Pit Boss, and it's definitely not something that I think you would get out of this, that if you bought, like, say, a Yoder, and you had that direct flame capabilities right off to the side. But having said that, we're going to do some comparison shots. As soon as the Searwood gets here, it's going to be on the channel, unboxing, you name it. As always, enjoy your cooks. Sambo out.